Legend has it that a very long time ago, Mr. Okafor, a musician in Onitsha, was known far and wide.
Music and film are two key pillars in Nigeria's creative industry, which contributes about 3% to the nation's GDP. Nigeria's movie industry, Nollywood, is the second largest employer in the country, with more than 1 million people benefiting either directly or indirectly. Nollywood produces about 2,500 movies each year. So, what does it take to thrive in this highly competitive industry? We caught up with Omoni Oboli, a multi-award-winning Nigerian actress, scriptwriter, director, and producer. She is also the co-founder of Dioni Visions, a film production company.
I first came into the industry in '96. I was a teenager. I was in university, my first year in uni. Some of my friends had, come to Lagos and they were involved in some movies, and they came back and all they could talk about was this production and that production. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I really want to do this. I've always wanted to do this. It was amazing. I did a few of those little roles, and then I got my first lead role, and then another and another. I just knew that my passion was the movies, and it was still there, and I just couldn't shake it.
How has that been, transitioning from films to business?
If my stories are going to have my DNA, then I'm going to have to direct them myself. And it was a scary thought. So I took a short course at New York Film Academy in New York in digital filmmaking.
How did you raise capital?
So I just decided I'm going to get all the money I can get, children's savings, everybody's money in the house, and I'm going to try and make this film. So I started to make this film, my first baby being Mrs. Elliot, without even having the full budget of the film. I'd been talking to some brands, for product placements and stuff like that for years. And then somehow, I would say that everything just aligned to favor me because I decided I was going to do it any which way. So I started out the project without having the whole money, but before we finished, we had even a little left to do post-production.
And what strategies have you used to ensure you maximize return on investment on your movies?
What I've done is really take the proceeds from one film and make another film, and that's how we've managed to keep the business of film running. We have an equipment rental business as well. So we have crew accommodation that we use for our shoot, and then our friends and all the people in production can use it as well.
What opportunities do online streaming platforms create for local content producers in your industry?
It was imperative that we got streaming giants, to come into this market to sort of help us with another source of income, another way to release our movies to the world. So not just the monies that are coming to us, the fact that our movies get to travel. They were traveling on DVDs and VCD, but weren't getting anything out of it at all. They actually are trying to do originals with us and maybe co-productions and stuff like that, So that for us is such a big deal, because it means that, all the hard work is finally paying off. The world is watching, and they really can't ignore Nollywood or Nigerian film industry anymore.
Something you want to say to that teenager who is looking at the money and saying, wow, she started like this and she ended like this. What do you want that girl to know?
I would say to her, if I was even going to speak to my younger self, and say, never give up. Ever. Giving up is not an option. It's not even on the table at all. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, all over the world, entertainers have seen the need to diversify their interests. Anything can happen to you. You might not actively be able to act or direct or make music or something, but once you've diversified your interests, you're doing other things, you're investing your money in other things, it's easier for you. So for instance, we've come up with our lashes.
In 2018, Nigeria's entertainment and media sector, which was valued at approximately $5 billion, trailed South Africa's, which was worth about $9 billion. This difference is mainly attributed to Nollywood's poor structural systems.
I would long to tell a story of a land that was drained, yet it rose and claimed its glory at the end of the day.
GT is a music artist and songwriter with over 15 years' experience in Nigeria's music scene.
My journey as an artist started, say, 15 years ago, professionally. We had opportunities of touring and doing a few shows across Africa. The fact that you have this backbone and funding wasn't an issue, you know, everything that you need, you could just tap your finger and you get it. Then time went by, you know, then I decided to stop. Funding was a major issue. Then I met a very good friend of mine, Mr. Sam, and it started working on my psyche. GT, you got this. GT, you can do this. And then here we are. So arise, Africa. I don't think it was as easy to monetize music then like it is right now. Piracy is still a major issue, you know. So the government needs to do something about it. For a start, protecting the artist, for example, you know, our copyrights and our intellectual properties. In Nigeria, we really are yet to get to the point where we see creatives as serious people. I mean, the corporates definitely support the Nigerian music industry. A lot of them, you know, they organize amazing concerts, you know, and through that, artists get to tour different places. And the fact that they use a lot of us as brand ambassadors is also a major thing.
Despite the success of Nigeria's creative industry, some entertainers still face some setbacks like health and finance, especially after active years. To shed more light on this, we meet Mona Lisa Coker of the Actors Guild of Nigeria.
Sometimes when you're set, few actors either just faint out of overworking themselves, or they're overdrained or overwhelmed with work, and we don't have anything to help with rushing them to the hospitals. And that's why we're pleading for the government intervention when it comes to some of these issues. We have the health scheme, which we're trying to put in place for ailing veterans in the industry.
What could be done differently?
We are collaborating with the Audiovisual Rights Society. So the Audiovisual Rights Society is helping to see that actors are able to earn, even if they're no longer acting. The Movie Practitioners Council, Mobicon, has passed a bill to the legislative government to see how they can also help with those needs that we need. There's issues with piracy, health insurance, which we're already tackling. There are also issues with not being able to sign contracts. Now, we need those kind of protective documents for every actor. You can't keep an actor on set without anything. You know, we have given so much to the industry. What we're asking for is some sort of protective unit that would help us stand firm.
Nigeria's entertainment business is changing. International players now want to do more, with partnerships between video-on-demand service platforms and Nollywood production companies. And let's not forget the interest from international music labels towards Nigerian artists. Despite these improvements, it is evident that the opportunities presented by this industry will be best realized if the structural challenges are dealt with.